when you're a licensed professional, you understand facial structures, you understand face framing and the framing of your client and the framing of the actor that's sitting there, and how that accentuates her face. Does she have an oval shaped face? Does she have a diamond shaped face? You're using all of those skills that you may have learned in beauty school, and you're bringing that into your actual profession.
I've never interviewed a hair designer before, so this is going to be awesome. So you're going to be teaching me a lot here. So I loved Abbott Elementary. That show is phenomenal. It's amazing. Can you talk about how the hairstyles for each of the characters kind of help portray each of the characters' personalities?
Oh my gosh. As you all know, hair tells a story. Because hair tells a story, everyone's hairstyle is specific to them. So let's take Janine's, for example. Janine's hairstyle, played by Quinta Brunson. She wears her hair pretty much the same, but she's very to herself with her look. Like, we all love a good curl. We all love a good curl pattern. But with Janine, she's never really stepped outside of herself, outside of just her curly hair, because that's what fits her. I know in the beginning of her character development, we didn't want to stray too far from that look, because if she was to come in with blonde hair, that's not Janine. It doesn't speak to her. So the importance of showing her personality through her curls and through that curly texture, it just brings out her character all the way around. Just because curly hair, even though it may seem to be less manageable, there is a specific process. There are specific steps. The washing, the deep conditioning, the twisting at night for the curls, like all of that is a specific process. So for Janine to come out, like I say, with like, let's say a Halle Berry haircut with blonde hair, that's completely out of the norm for her. And if she did come out with something like that, it's because she's trying to find herself and try something new. But that's why that hairstyle speaks to her. And we all know somebody that's hair like that and may have similar personalities like Janine's. Moving on to Barbara. Barbara got that, honey, that church lady Bob look, okay? We all know that grandma in church. Or not, I don't want to say grandmother, but we all know that older lady or seasoned, mature woman.
Yeah, that distinguished woman.
Yes, distinguish, who you can grab so much inspiration from, because now, we're living in a day and time where people are, let's go on the internet and do all this, and Google this, Google that. But when you have a living legend like Shirley Ralph that you can glean wisdom from, it emulates so well through Barbara Howard, and the hairstyle just speaks for itself, and it goes with her personality. It's very together. It's very, Barbara Howard is not going to come to work with a bust down middle part and long hair like Ava. It don't speak Barbara. It speak girl. Where you think you doing? Where you think you going? Vibes, Ava, honey, we switched all the looks for Ava this season, because a character like Ava, you got to keep the audience guessing. You got to keep the audience on their toes. And the thing with hair for Ava's character is hair changes your mood. Okay. I'm curly today, but if I feel like being straight tomorrow, or if I feel like having a Farrah Fawcett hairstyle, or going like the whole fro, I can do that. And Ava represents every woman out there who has the ability to change that hairstyle and switch a wig like she switched her shirts in her wardrobe. And that's the fun part about Ava. Melissa Shimenti, her whole I'm just going down the line. I'm sorry. Let me know if I need to stop.
No, you're good. I love it.
Melissa Shimenti, her hair the color specifically, because Dustin Osborne, who's my key hairstylist and also colorist on our show, worked together with Lisa Walters to get this hair color just right for her. And the color speaks to her personality, that fiery cracker red, that fiery red cracker hairstyle, that firecracker, that's what I meant to say.
There you go.
The firecracker hairstyle, red hairstyle just speaks to her spicy personality. And like, don't play with Miss Shimenti, honey, because she might grab a bat on you or something, or whatever the case may be. But it gives, even with how her hair is styled throughout this whole season, because there's moments where we see her in an updo ponytail when she's at home and relaxed, but when she's at work, she means business. That's why we never really put her in straight hair. Sure. We always put her in hair that speaks to her personality, it speaks to her confidence. Well, when you see her, you already know she means business.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Dude, you have so much fire. You should be on the show. I feel like you should be a character on the show. So the one thing I love about talking about this stuff is I talked to the creators of Bel-Air not too long ago. And one of the things that they had mentioned, which I found super insightful, and I hope our Screen Rant viewers and readers get a better lesson on this, is that they talked about how to light Black skin. And I think it's very important because can you talk about the importance of Black women being able to work and not only understand their hair, but keeping it healthy and being that a priority as well?
It is definitely a priority because we as Black women, we're in hair, especially on shows like Abbott or any other show that any actor in Hollywood or Atlanta or wherever the place works in our industry. They're constantly in and out of wigs, depending on their character. And for me, I created a product, Moisture Lock. Hey. And that basically helps keep their hair moisturized. I always use products that are basically specific to the actor or actress that's in my chair or in my trailer that's being serviced by any one of my team. Most of us, well, not most of us, all of us come from the salon world. So as a licensed cosmetologist, we understand the importance of healthy hair. And a lot of times with these schedules of these actors, you know, if they're shooting in Brazil, they may or may not be able to bring their normal hairstylist with them. So it's up to us in this industry to make sure that we bring that knowledge and that practice to the trailer so that they can be able to have their hair fully taken care of so that it can grow and not take out no edges and not be bald. But all of that learning and training and figuring things out and doing it quick now, because, you know, we got to get them ready for the show and ready for their scenes. But yes, those are all important. And we bring that skill level, especially on Abbott. That is, hair care is our first and foremost primary, like that's our motto.
I love that because I feel like that's such an important part of what you do. And also, I feel like that's just an insight that a lot of people just don't have about the creation process of what you're doing. Now, something you mentioned, which is stunning to me, is that you have more than 100 wigs ready on set to go all the time.
You have to. And if it's not, if let's say, because I had an incident once where I had all the wigs and I had all the textures, but there was one specific texture that our creator and showrunner, Quinta Burnson, wanted for her sister's character, the actress Io, who came in. And I didn't have it on hand, but I had it in bundles. Bundles meaning like the hair extensions on the track. Sure. I kid you not. She came in at 5 a.m. She had to be on set by 7. She already was in makeup for about, 45 minutes or so. I kid you not. I went in that trailer, my trailer, pulled out my sewing machine and made her a wig on the spot.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, on the spot. I had to make it, color it, like all of that in under 2 hours and get it approved by Quinta. And after she saw it, she was like, yes, that's it. That's the one. And that's how we came up with that character. So a lot of my wigs that are already on the show, the 100 plus, that plus sign comes from when I have to do it on the spot and make something on the spot. But that comes from years of experience and all that other good stuff that I apply on set, because you never know.
Well, speaking of Quinta, can you talk about working with her as a collaborator? Because she seems so welcoming, so inviting. And I'd like to say that, I mean, I don't know her, obviously, but I'd like to say that there has to be bits of her real personality in her character.
Quinta is my homegirl. She the homie. I low-key feel like her. I low-key feel like her honorary big sis. But she is such an amazing person. And I love the fact that when we are collaborating on hairstyles, I always, 9 times out of 10, we're always on the same page. Like she'll say, okay, well, this is the character that we're writing for this episode. And I'll be like, okay, well, give me a little backstory about her. Like, what is this person's backstory? What does she look like? Da, 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 da. And I'm just piggybacking off of an incident from season 1 where we had the artsy teacher. And one of the things that she said during that season was, hey, I want her to look like, kind of like Zoe Kravitz, but not really Zoe Kravitz, but kind of like, that boho, but not really boho. And kind of like, I was like, girl, okay, well, show me what she looked like. And then I'll find we'll find that inspiration. And I kid you not, I pulled up a picture. She said, that is the look that I'm looking for. And I said, well, we're always on the same page. Even with the characters that come in for the season, we're always on the same page. And it's such fun creating, collaborating with her because she gives me the freedom to really create. And a lot of times when you're working different projects, sometimes it's built off that relationship that you have with the person's vision, that they trust you enough to bring that vision to life. And I can't thank her enough for just trusting me for that. And here we are now.
Can you talk about your signature and distinct technique for interweaving and infusing your clients' natural hairs with their extensions to create this seamless look?
So first of all, I hand make all my wigs, as you see here.
That's incredible. How long does it take you to make something like that?
So if I'm under like a really, really tight deadline, this is a full lace wig, by the way. I can make this full lace wig in 8 days. The back took me 4 days. And I'm just because I've been really busy working and creating other things, the front will take me about 3 to 4 days to create. So it's about a good 8 days to create a full lace wig. If I'm doing like a front to where I'm customizing that hairline to that actor's hairline, that'll take me a good day, if that, give or take some hours. But I usually do a really, really fast turnaround. My biggest motto has always been the more you work, the faster you'll get.
Sure.
And a lot of my techniques definitely come through my expertise of wig making and making those wigs to look like it's coming right at the scalp. I do use a lot of my own personal products, which is my lace-like melting spray. It's a quick way to get clients, or not clients, it's a quick way to get the actors in and out of their character without damaging their hair. And we only use water to remove. So it lasts all day, literally lasts all day. And then we just remove it with water at the end of the day, and they still have their edges.
I want to talk about that for a second, because that's a unique technique, using water only to remove wigs, which helps the natural hair growth. Can you talk about that and why that's important? I
mean, obviously, if there's a scene where we have to use glue, we just have to use glue. And we do go and follow safety protocols when it comes to removing glues. That's why you need your license, people. You need your cosmetology license. But as far as the product that I have, the lace-like melting spray, it's quick to put on, quick to take off because of the water. That's all you need. And it's just a high holding spray that literally makes the lace disappear on camera. We shoot in 4K.
Right.
So my thing this whole season was to make sure, okay, you don't want the glue to seep through. It needs to be matte, and it needs to match the actor's skin tone to a point where you're not going to be able to see anything. And if you ventilate the wig right, you ain't going to see nothing anyway.
Right.
So that's the best thing and the highlight of this whole Abbott Elementary, with our expertise that comes into play.
What's been the most challenging look to kind of come up with on your time spent on Abbott Elementary? I would assume that it would have been the Halloween episode where Janelle had to like wear the storm wig. That's what I would assume, but I wouldn't.
That I really wanted to go bigger. I wanted to go bigger during that episode because I actually put 3 wigs together on that episode, 3 wigs stacked on top of each other. But for this, I think we only ended up doing, we went from 3 wigs stacked on top to 2 wigs stacked on top to 1 wig, which is still was great. But there was a technique that I did use for that. And it's an old school technique. Like one of the hood beauty salon techniques. Because like I say, I come from the salon world. Right. So one of those techniques. Back in the day, we used to call it invisible part techniques, where you cut because it is a synthetic wig, and that was a last minute decision for me to not have the quick turnaround time to ventilate a whole hairline, because we weren't really sure the direction that we were going. Technically, we were supposed to do like a bunch of different looks for that episode. But to make a long story short, I took a weft, cut the weft off, and just literally glued it onto the scalp to emulate her hairline. And we had to do that for every episode. Whoa. And I will say, let me put it out there, that was the episode that I got COVID.
No.
And my team had to hold it down that whole episode. But they had all the wigs that I created. So I gotta remember, I gotta ask my key how many wigs we had, because I know we had over 100 wigs for that episode. Everyone was in a wig. Everybody. Wow. Even the kids. I think we did a Beyonce wig for one of the little girls. So yeah, it was an intense episode. I got to give a shout out to my team, Dustin Osborne, Christina Joseph. They held it down, and all the day players and all the barbers that came in during from my union 706, they held us down.
That's incredible. Sure. Now, there's that episode where Janine goes out to the club during Christmas break and she straightens her hair. And honestly, she almost looks like a different person when her hair's straightened like that. Can you talk about the challenges maybe of shaping a style according to somebody's face, a completely different style that she had in that episode?
It always comes down and boils down to the technique and understanding facial structures. That's what you are trained to do when you're a licensed cosmetologist. You know, I'm gonna throw that out. But you have to, when you're a licensed professional, you understand facial structures, you understand face framing and the framing of your client and the framing of the actor that's sitting there, and how that accentuates her face. Does she have an oval shaped face? Does she have a diamond shaped face? You're using all of those skills that you may have learned in beauty school, and you're bringing that into your actual profession. And by doing that and creating this look for Quinta, we did those soft layers so that she can, emulate her touching into her softness of the character. This is her chance to let her hair down and maybe grab a boo or maybe grab a little boyfriend along the way. And then she run into Gregory. What?
Right.
So all of those things, and even the way Gregory looks at her, it's like, oh my God. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course you're noticing the hair because you're always seeing her in the curly. So to have to do something a little different where it's straight with some layers and a little bump and curl, that's a big step for her. And it emulated so well on screen. And Quinta, bomb actress, obviously, but she delivered and carried every look throughout this season. So,
yeah, she's fantastic. So talented. Can you talk about your process? So where does it start? You get the script, you read it, and at that point, are you already kind of like mapping out what you're going to do with each person's look? And do you talk to the actor about like the look that you want to apply?
Well, there is a process. It always starts with pen and paper, first and foremost. So I read the script, break down that episode. And when I'm breaking down that episode, I'm breaking down that character, I'll actually go to the writers first. And I'll ask them, like, what were you thinking when you wrote this about this character? Just to kind of get in the mind frame of what that particular, like what they're looking for. Sure. Because if I know what kind of mind frame they're going to be in, then I'm going to know how to apply whatever hairstyle that I'm going to do. And I'll pick the hairstyle and then consult with the actors. Like, okay, this is what we're thinking. This is what I like. And obviously, because they trust me, there literally is no like back and forth as far as this is what I want. I don't know how to do this, But when the actors, when they're excited about a look, I think there was one episode, the Christmas episode, where the club episode, Janelle did suggest, I want to do like a half up, half down hairstyle. I was like, yes, girl, let's do that. Let's do that. I like that. So when those things come into play, it can be a collaborative effort across the board, but it's me trying to break down the psyche of that character. That's first and foremost across the board for me. That's what I always do. I always break down the character. There was an episode, if you got to catch the finale, when they had the sleepover.
Yes.
And like, y'all, let's be real. I remember when I was growing up, my mama didn't let me go to no sleepover, a school sleepover over without a scarf or a bonnet or something, because she spent that time putting my hair together. She not about to let me go to a sleepover without no scarf. So when I talked to one of the writers, which was Brittany Nichols, I asked her, I'm like, okay, let's talk about this. Where do you see them having the do-rags and the bonnets? And where do you see them winding down with that? And that's how we really incorporate it. And I saw them comments online when everybody was like, finally, a show where they're showing the real us, our culture, and how we do. You know what I'm saying? So that's good.
Incredible. Now, can you talk about doing scalp massages for the actors to help generate and circulate blood flow and promote growth?
What we do is we do have a little scalp massager. We started implementing it on some of the actors or actresses that want it, but we do have that available, and we're really going to have more stuff available next season. More of those treatments available. We go a little outside of what our normal job description is to make sure that they're comfortable. But once again, that comes into having knowledge about hair growth. And we stimulate their scalp, we stimulate their follicles. I'll do like a deep massage. We do take care of their coloring, and we maintain their color and things on set and all of that. So it's literally like a little mini salon. It's like, it's a mini salon on set. and we take care of them. And, and we try to get them ready. Like some of us do them personally outside of the show. And, sometimes if we're not booked for that, just depending on how busy our lives are, we try to make them as ready for their hairstylist that they go to outside of the show as well. So it is a collaborative effort across the board.
One thing that I want to talk about too is your use of color without a lot of ammonia. Because I know that that's such a big thing that either people are allergic for or isn't super healthy, but you do it with little to none, right?
I do use an ammonia-free product on one of our actresses. I cannot disclose the name, but one of them girls, I do an ammonia-free coloring process on them because for me and her hair texture, mind you, you got to remember when you're undergoing a color process, everyone takes different things. Everyone's hair can strand different things. Like me, my particular hair texture, I can't go like platinum blonde and, not expect my hair to feel like cotton. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of how many products I put on top of it, I can't do that because my hair has low porosity. But there's other people who can do it because their hair has high porosity and it retains moisture. But when you get those actors whose hair may not retain a lot of moisture, or their hair may go through vigorous amount of things, whether they've been to this stylist, that stylist, or they might have, been in a pinch and had to do something themselves or using the wrong product for so many years, what I normally do is I try to go the safest way to get them their result. So if we're trying to, let's per se, freshen up a color, I want to go with the safest product, which usually is an ammonia-free product. And we go with the lowest volume so that they can maintain their hair's integrity while we're rebuilding it. Because believe it or not, wigs, braids, all of those things are protective hairstyles. And when they're in my chair, while we're on set, I usually braid them down and they'll keep those braids for a week, depending on if they have different schedules or anything like that. But if they're like, after, like, let's say they had to film today and then afterwards they have to go to a premiere somewhere or they have to get ready, then I'll make sure that their hair is still moisturized and prepped for whatever style that they need. So, yes.
You also use your own brand of shampoos and wig bath bombs to help hydrate the hair so it doesn't strip the color and it adds moisture into the hair. Can you talk about that a little bit?
My daughter gave me the wig bath bomb idea. She was like, she's this big like TikToker, YouTuber, not in like following count, but she loves, these kids, they love TikTok, They love YouTube. And she's one of those like, love those ASMR things. She'll watch my videos. And back then, like what was this? Like maybe 2018, 2019, she was like, Mom, you should do a bath bomb. And I'm like, a bath bomb, but for wigs. Because I always soak the wigs first to make sure you get all the residue and stuff off. But I needed to create a bath bomb that was going to soak the wigs, but not strip the color. Or soak wigs, but still moisturize and infuse moisture into the wig. So all of my wigs or all of our wigs on the show, when time permits itself, we do a wig bath bomb to where we give them all wig baths. They'll sit in the bath bomb for a good 15, 20 minutes. And all you need is one shampoo after that. One shampoo, just one, which is my product too, but one shampoo. And then you follow up with conditioner and you're done.
Well, let's talk about your product for a second, because is this available to like the public?
It is. It is available to the public. I gotta make the bath bombs, but it's available to the public.
I love that.
My conditioners. I do make all of my Moisture Lock creams. So these are handmade. I only use raw ingredients such as shea butter, mango butter, cocoa butter, like all those things. Shampoos and conditioners are made. And I also just incorporated an ingredient called shebe oil. And shebe is a very, very popular product that everybody's doing. Everybody done got hip to shebe now, so everybody adding shebe. But I actually make the oil, and you have to ferment that oil for about a good 3 or 4 days. And once you ferment that oil, then I usually add that to my products and add it to the hair growth oil as well. And it does promote massive hair growth.
And you're like a hair designer and scientist. This is crazy.
You gotta be.
Fantastic. Well, look, you were so insightful. I swear, I think you should be on the show. Your personality is so big, and I think it fits perfectly with Abbott Elementary. But thank you so much for taking the time and talking to me. This is so insightful. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And please vote for Abbott Elementary. Best complimentary hairstyle.
Hey, this show is phenomenal. Congratulations on all the success. Like literally, my family and I watch it together, because it's such a great show that I think is great for the whole family and teaches great lessons in such a comedic way. And you do such a great job of making it look, everyone's hairstyle looks seamless. So thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.